the UFC cut so many they cut like their entire international operations team. Like, all right, we don't need you guys anymore. A lot of employees. You guys are all gone.
Yeah.
And it sucks because all those people were really good people. They did a great job. It's just that
Goldberg's gone, I think, because his number wasn't right.
Yeah.
So
do
you have insight on that? That if I talk to you privately, would I learn something new?
Maybe.
I mean, that's what Rogan said on the air.
There's nothing. I don't think there's anything dirty or crazy or whatever. I think that for whatever reason, Goldberg didn't get along with certain people. Whether it was Dana or someone just wasn't a fan of his, and just his contract was over and they didn't renew it. I
think it was
so
money.
One time Goldberg was being lured by, I think it was the WWE. Like Vince McMahon was trying to get him, and they offered him a boatload of money, and Goldberg stayed loyal to the UFC. So in my head, all this time, Goldberg was a company man that was, just highly valued, like a Rich Franklin or something.
Yep.
And then they cut him. I guess it wasn't true.
I don't really know. I talked to Mike Goldberg after. Obviously, I didn't ask him anything on that, but I was talking to him after the fight, and it was great to kind of see him because I guess he lives in Phoenix, so he was out there, and I'm of course I'm not going to go in the subreddit. Oh, so why'd you get fired, or why you not, what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that, but I'm sure it was just the UFC decided to go this way, and he was this way. It's just as a preference.
What's your
thing.
theory on his replacement? Who do you think it's going to be?
There was, I don't even know who it was. There's some guy that's like a sports analyst or something like that.
Jim Rome?
I think that was who I heard.
Ooh, is it Jim Rome?
No, I don't know that.
Rumor.
I don't know.
But I used to listen to Jim Rome's show so much. Oh, he's got this really interesting speech pattern and delivery. And if you listen to his radio show, it's like all radio shows, I guess. Like you get the inside jokes and you get his speech pattern, and when you call into his show, it's not a pleasant conversation. You're not calling in to have a conversation. You're calling in to deliver smack talk. That's what it's about. It's about delivering this soliloquy of smack talk based around whatever your corner of the sports world is. Just a light fire under Tom Brady and talk and use all this show lingo. They would have contests where where callers would compete in this smack talk thing, and that's what his show is so. The flow of it is so weird. It's not.
What sports does he? I've never listened to it.
Everything. He's an expert in everything. He's. Let me show you the best Jim Rome clip in the fucking world. Oh man, you've probably seen this before.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you're excited about Jim Rome.
Oh, I like him. I would prefer him over Chael. It's my first
Chael, I would love for it to be Chael. Chael just said today he signed a 6-fight deal with Bellator, and he always finishes his deal.
It won't be with Chael. It definitely won't be Chael. I don't think.
No,
Chael's if I could pick anyone on the planet, I'd love for it to be Chael.
He's the guy on the fight that podcast, right? Fighter and the Kid.
No, that's
that's Brendan Schaub.
You're thinking of Brendan Schaub, yeah. But Chael has a podcast too. I think it's called You're Welcome.
Yep.
I'm trying to find a higher quality version of this, but basically,
I wouldn't. Oh, keep going.
Jim Rome is interviewing Chris Everett on his show, who's an NFL player.
Oh, this! Oh my God, he's such a dick, such a dick.
What do you already know?
Yeah, I think his name is actually. Is it Jim Everett? Is the quarterback's real name?
His name's.
So tell me if I have this right. It's a long time ago, but I think it is a quarterback for the San Diego Chargers, and his name is Jim Everett. And he calls him Chris Everett, who's the name of a female tennis player. And he just fucks it up all the time, calling it. And Jim at some point is
No. He's not fucking it up. He's calling him a woman's name on purpose.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Doing on his show for a while.
Okay, I've seen this. I don't even need to watch this. I know exactly what this is.
Right, so he's calling this Jim Everett by Chris Everett's name, this female tennis player, fucking it up intentionally, I should say. And Jim is like, just stop calling me Chris, stop calling me Chris. Until he's like, if you do it, I'm going to kick your ass. He keeps doing it. Jim gets up and I guess pushes him around or something, and that's how it goes.
He grabs his ass up and flips him over a table and like follows him to the ground, where he continues letting him know that he's a professional athlete and you're a little worm, Jim Rome.
It is so uncomfortable.
That's the closest stage.
1 minute. This isn't bad.
This is a real life example of exactly like watching that obviously pudgy weak guy pick on the bear Jew Vin Diesel in that clip.
This is to me a real life example of an internet troll trying to do that shit in real life. Can we watch it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm queued up at 0. Everyone ready?
Let it roll.
I'm at 0.
Ready, set, play.
Member of the Saints. Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, hey, you know what? Let me say one thing.
He's
in that
still
game,
calling.
how many sacks did I have that we came back and won?
How many sacks did you
How
have?
How many sacks?
Well, see, but this was back in 1989.
Okay, that was about
you may
6.
have even been Jim Everett back there, but somewhere along the way, Jim, you ceased being Jim and you became Chris.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. That, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time,
I already did it twice.
You call it one more time. We better take
Such a shit-eating grin.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment, or 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of
Well,
you before.
it's good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you
because
too.
you've been talking like this behind my back for a long time.
But now I said it right here.
Right.
I got no problem
Well,
with that.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do. Chris?
It was one of the uncomfortable, like, it boils over moments where he does knock the table over and the coffee goes flying and he pushes him down, but then the reality sinks in of like, all right, I can't actually beat the shit out of this guy right now because I'm a 6'7" professional athlete and he's just a shit-eating grin asshole.
The backstory is that I guess Jim Everett, a quarterback. I'm not a football expert, but a quarterback sometimes throws it knowing that he's going to get punished, but he's got to follow through as if no one's coming to crush him. And rather than like throw it and go for the pass, he would sometimes protect himself. So Jim Rome was changing from calling him Jim Everett to Chris Everett. He was calling him a girl because he would perhaps
and also
because
there's a female tennis player named Chris Everett.
Right.
Alike.
I don't think it's about the looks. It was about protecting himself instead of taking the hit. That's why he was calling him a girl.
But I mean, I hope it is Jim Rome. I really like Jim Rome. I think if you listen to his radio show, there's definitely like an entry period where you're like, what are they even fucking talking about? Why is everyone yelling about like soccer right now? But after a while, like you get initiated. I haven't listened to it in years, but I was a huge fan when I was like, I don't know, early 20s, something like that.
Dislike
every day.
I prefer it to be MMA people like Skip Bayless, and there's like an attractive, big, strong black guy. I think he talks to.
No, it wouldn't be him.
It wouldn't be him. I do think they're not together, but I forget. I watch these people on ESPN, and I'm just like, these guys are not MMA guys. Like, they're very, very surface. They don't know any of the backstories. They don't know anything about MMA, and they're talking about it, and it frustrates me. Like, I don't want a non-MMA guy in this role. I want it to be like a Chael Sonnen, someone who really knows the deal. Yeah,
Chael would be great.
Chael will definitely have he may get that job someday. He may end up taking, whenever maybe Joe Rogan leaves, maybe Chael Sonnen moves in because they're a similar style, I think.
Yeah, you need contrasting styles.
Yeah,
you can't have two guys that are the same.
Yeah, I honestly hated Goldberg.
They say that Goldie was the play-by-play and Joe Rogan was the color, right?
Yep.
But I think it's hard to be play-by-play next to Rogan because he'll jump in and take your play-by-play all the time.
I know by far the least of any of us about MMA, and he doesn't just like make jokes and stuff. He does say stuff that's helpful, where he's like, "Oh, he's going for a Kimura or some other name of a move. Yeah, see why he's reaching across there to grab his wrist." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's something that I wouldn't have known to look for." It just looks like
really
two people
high-level
rumbling.
stuff. Like,
if it's my job to do play-by-play, and then suddenly Rogan's over there saying he needs to get his hip around here, he needs to lace his foot through there. I
think that they were different, though. I think they had a different dynamic. I think that Goldie kind of had like the informative, like let you know about general like events and all that kind of stuff, and reading ads and stuff like that. But then he was kind of the guy that would ask questions. I think that he asked questions intentionally he knew was wrong. He would say things he intentionally knew were wrong so that Rogan could correct him, or instead of him be like him asking directly, like, "Oh, what is he doing to the shoulder right there?" He's like, "Oh, is he going for an omoplata?" He's like, "No, that's not an omoplata. That's an omoplata or gogoplata or whatever it's going to be." You know what I mean? Like, something completely different. I think that a lot of times when he would say things, he wouldn't he wouldn't intentionally think that. He was just kind of, that was like his prompt for Rogan.
That makes sense because like I'm pretty uninformed as well. I just, I watch a lot and I read a good bit, but like I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. I certainly don't recognize fucking like, oh yeah, he's using his left leg to kind of capture and then he's trying to sweep his right leg under and he's going to flip his hips and he's going to take control. I don't see that. I love hearing that from him, but I always felt like Goldberg was almost like that character in the movies who's only there for the audience's benefit. That he's like the sassy janitor who can be like, "What are y'all doing in here with all them beakers?" And they can be like, and they can explain what they're doing. Remember Ghostbusters? Like that. Yep. That's what the black guy was there for. Winston was there to be like, so let me get this straight. You put all them ghosts in that big machine, and they just go stay there. And they're like, yeah, that's how it works. We capture them, and then we put them in. Like he literally walks Winston and the audience through how you capture ghosts and put them in the machine. Yep. And that's a great way to do exposition in a movie. But it's also pretty good, I guess, with the fight game.
Now I also wonder. I don't know anything about this, but I also wonder if they were doing everything they could to cut costs. I wonder if Goldie was expensive because he'd been there for so long and so many times getting raises. If they're better off to go and have someone else.
That's what it sounded like with what Joe Rogan was saying, because Joe intimated that he would not be there if it were not for his relationship with Dana.
Yep.
And I don't think that Goldberg had that same relationship.
If it is Jim Rome's earning $15 million a year in his current contract.
Jim Rome is a high dollar guy. Yeah, I would imagine he keeps doing what he's doing, and this is. He wouldn't give up his radio show.
The challenge, I hear what you're saying, but there's so much travel in this job, it would be hard to keep another job.
It really would, yeah. It would have to be a juicy.
You got to remember that Rogan's working a lot less shows than he used to. He's only doing shows in the United States on pay-per-view for the most part. A couple Fox shows. Like he's doing a lot less dates, so there's not as much travel there. Especially most of them are West Coast.
Do you think that's because they're like phasing him out a little bit?
No. I think he's got more money, knows what to do with. Exactly. He's not doing it because he wants to do it. He's doing it because he's not doing it because he needs to do it. He's doing it because he wants to do it. So I don't think they could pay him enough money to get him to force him to do it. He's just doing the shows he wants to do, and honestly, that travel fucking sucks when you're traveling like all these different countries. Like they have a really tough travel schedule sometimes. And Rogan's usually there for weigh-ins, and he's doing Q&As, and he's doing this, and he's doing that, and it's a freaking.
It's interesting that when you get in Rogan's position and you're not motivated by money. Like I don't think Rogan desires the next 10 million of his net worth.
Yeah, he's hit that critical mass of money where it's like I can do whatever I want.
Exactly.
Anything else is just gravy.
He wants to kill bison and deer and then eat them. His Instagram is just nonstop him cooking up stuff with peppers.
So it's like, how do you get Joe to do what you? Plus, he seems to have this podcast of his seems to be going so well that he doesn't need the UFC anymore.